Chris Crawford with Kickassmedia, and I'm going to do a backdrop comparison for you here. If you're shopping to do event marketing, trade show, gala, conference, maybe it's a movie premiere, gala, whatever it may be, there's a backdrop that's going to suit what it is that you're doing. Now, I've got our good, better, and best behind me. I'm also going to share you the backdrop to avoid at all costs, so the one that we get calls, complaints. We used to sell it years ago. A lot of people still buy it. They don't realize, and people hate it when they get it. So I'm going to tell you about that one later. But let's go check out these three and what the key differences are, because most people don't even realize that there's actually so many different options. Let's check it out. Now, the first backdrop that we're going to look at is our Expand. This is one of the longest running backdrop models. It's great, it's easy to use, and as you can see, it looks good. Now, we use the premium fabric on all three. It's glare-free, wrinkle-resistant. As you can see, they set up, they look amazing. We guarantee the color. We're one of the only suppliers in the market that actually guarantees the color, so you know your brand is gonna look right, it's gonna look perfect when it arrives. Now, what's nice about the Expand is it sets up super easy. One person can do this in a few minutes. There's no tools or anything like that needed. And you've got your end caps that wrap around the edge, and it actually hides the frame. Now, in behind, there's a framework. And see, it's just these little locking clips. They go up to size, and your print attaches with Velcro. So this is the end cap on the side here, but on the front and all around the top, there's also Velcro, and your fabric just attaches to that. Super easy, sets up in minutes, looks absolutely great. Now, one of the cons of this one is that you can just see the stitch line around the edge where the Velcro is. Now, it's not a huge thing. When you step back, it's barely visible, but it is there. It also takes a tiny bit more work to get this one to look perfect and perfectly smooth. It looks great. It's a great backdrop, but as you can see, even in this one, we've got a few little things at the bottom here, just a few little waves there. Now, those can be adjusted, it can be fixed, and it can look great. People buy this, they love it. We've been doing movies, we ship it. For you name it, product launches, things like that. People absolutely love it. It's our base model, and it's a great backdrop. Now, the next one up from that is our quick click model. Now, this one is just a little bit more premium. So as you can see, it pulls it a little bit smooth, and look at the edge. Notice how that there's no stitch line, nothing like that. There's no Velcro, there's no stitch around it. And the reason for this is because the stitching is actually hidden on the edge. So what's also nice is, look at this thin profile, very cool, very neat design, and the back is covered with fabric. Now, the advantage of that is a couple. One, you don't see the framework like you do over here in the Expand. You can see the frame. You don't see the frame in the Quick Click, which is a nice feature. Now, you can get the Expand. Occasionally, we'll do custom double-sided, but it's not really something that it's meant for. It's a little bit more work. So this one, you can get branding on the back or just white. And that's a great feature. It pulls it tight, it sets up smooth. There's a tiny bit more work to the setup, but we're talking about a few minutes here. And it pulls over, and then there's actually little feet, little stabilizer feet on the bottom, and a zipper across the bottom. So this is our quick click. Again, we do the lifetime warranty on the frame. We do that on all of our backdrops. So if any damage, anything like that happens, you don't have to worry about it. Now, our most premium backdrop is the Edge. So as you can see, the fabric is perfect. It's pristine, it looks really good. And that's because this has a new unique design where the fabric actually pushes into the frame. Now notice that there's no stitch lines of any kind. See, not even like with this one on the Edge and with the Expand, you know, here's the stitch lines here. But on the Edge, there's no stitch lines because they're actually hidden inside the frame. There's just this little brushed metal edge, brushed aluminum edge that looks nice. And so it pulls it crisp, it pulls it perfectly smooth. This is the most premium, most high-end backdrop that you can get on the market. And again, this one you can also do double-sided as well. And it's an easier double-sided than the Expand. So the way that this one sets up is very similar to the Expand. There's little locking clips that just go into place and they just lock in. But then there's little bars that go around the edge. So these little bars actually lock in. You clip each one in, and the fabric pushes into it, as you've seen. Now, it does have, being transparent, there is a tiny bit more to the setup. It's a little bit more work. It's not that it's difficult, it's actually quite easy. It's just that it takes a couple minutes to go along and lock all of these bars in and then push your fabric in. So it is gonna take a few minutes, but the result is worth it. Look at that. Look how amazing that looks. The color looks great. And it's really crisp. Premium brands, or if you're doing something where you just want the best look, this is the one to get. Overall, our recommendation for most event marketing, things like that, is often the quick click. It's a great in the middle. It's got some nice upgrades to it with the better look and feel, and the price point's great on it. But we've been selling the Expand for years and people absolutely love it. So it really depends on your choice, what you're looking for, what your budget is, and again, if it's something that you're going to travel with and use a lot. So if you're going to use this for years, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be doing a lot, it's worth investing into something that you're really going to be happy with and you're really going to enjoy. So as promised, let's talk about the backdrop to avoid. So you may have seen this one when you've been looking around on the internet. It's touted by some suppliers as a great backdrop, but avoid this at all costs. Now, this one, at one time, this was actually the only backdrop we sold. Now we're talking 15 years ago when we first got into this. This was one of the main ones, but here's the problem. So first off, you can see the poles on the side, which just doesn't really look that professional, right? It just kind of makes it look a little flimsy. Secondly, those poles have these little telescopic things. So you pull it out, you screw it, you tighten it. But what happens is they strip over time and the poles become difficult. People always seem to wreck these as they use them multiple times. So next is the material. So mainly you can only use vinyl, and people will say it's glare free, but it's not. It's a matte finish, but there will still be some glare. The other thing is you can only roll this material up. You can't fold it. Think about wallpaper or something. It has to be rolled, but you now have an 8-foot long roll that you're actually trying to carry around. So we've had people years ago that had bought this and not realized how big it is. The setup is just cumbersome all around. This is just not a professional backdrop. It doesn't look great. It's difficult to work with. We really don't recommend it. And now people actually call that have bought this elsewhere, are unhappy with it, and they just want to get something good. So we say stay away from this one at all costs. So that's our backdrop lineup. I hope you enjoyed it. It makes it easier for you to make a decision. We really recommend certain backdrops for certain uses. It's great to reach out to the team. We can have a conversation about what you're doing, find the right fit, the perfect backdrop for you, and also the right package, because we have a lot of other products that go along with them. Our event marketers package, where you can get your backdrop, your case, your branded tablecloth that has the same fabric, so your booth or your setup looks the same. It's going to actually hook and attract your audience into your booth. So I hope you enjoyed that. Reach out, let us know if you have any questions, or check out our other videos.